VI Department of Education family, welcome to the VIDE's 2020-2021 Employee Professional Development Conference. One of my goals as commissioner is to develop a work culture of learning and growth. Research shows that employees with professional development opportunities are 15% more engaged. Additionally, the data says that organizations that offer professional development has a 34% higher retention of staff. Very important to keep great talent and support the growth of employees in the workplace. These are facts I believe to be true from my own experiences. I firmly believe that employees are the #1 asset of this department. Without you, student programs do not actualize, and services to our vendors are not executed. Your level of satisfaction and confidence as an employee is important to me because it contributes to your progress, peace of mind, and effectiveness on the job. Remember, no matter our roles, we are united in a singular goal to ensure student success. This series of professional development is a first of its kind at the VIDE. It was specifically developed and designed to educate employees on the tools and resources that all employees utilize at the VIDE. I look forward to hearing about your experience today, as well as the other areas in which you would like to have additional professional development. Please also invite and encourage your family and friends to participate in the department's 2020-2021 Parent and Community Conference, which have been especially designed for them. Remember, together we can transform public education in the Virgin Islands. Enjoy today's session.
In your desktop version, the first thing I like to tell people to do, especially office staff, you probably want to go in and set your settings and your notifications so that you're not getting all these things all the time, because sometimes people invite you to meetings and it's not always the meetings that you need to be in, but you're aware of the meetings. And once individuals start chatting in those meetings, even though you didn't physically go into the meeting, you're still seeing all the chat messages, you're getting all the notifications. So some of the ways you could turn that stuff off is by going up here in the corner. And if you guys want to log into your Teams account and follow along, you can do so also. But where it has your profile picture, you can click here. And in here, you have the ability to go to settings. And here is where you get to select your notifications and things like that. Some of you, when you go in, there's actually the older version of Teams where the bar is like in the middle of the screen. And then the newer version of Teams has the control bars up in the top right-hand corner. Some people don't understand how you get it or how do you turn it off if you don't like the newer version. So in settings, right here where it says turn on meeting and new meeting experience. So this is where you get to look at the theater style seating. This is where you get to see the gallery view. So if there's more than 10 or 20 people with the cameras on, the screen expands so that you can see all of the individuals on your screen as long as the cameras are on. So if this is not selected on your team setting and you do want to be able to enjoy all these new added features to Teams, you want to make sure that you select that button right there. And it's going to tell you that it's not going to take place until you close out Teams and reopen it. So if you do want that new experience, you're going to toggle that on, and then you're going to shut Teams down and bring it back up. And then when you go into the actual call, you would see the big difference between what you were seeing and what you would see. So in here, you can set other settings like auto start application. I have mine turned on. Open application in background, I actually turned that off only because sometimes when you shut the Teams down, especially for teachers who's using it every day, if you're not allowing Teams to fully shut down and you go in the next day, we find that you have a lot of glitches. Sometimes the cache files don't fully clear. So we ask teachers to like turn that off so that all of Teams is shutting down completely. And then when you open back up Teams the following day, you're starting with like a fresh start. So that makes a big difference in the usability of Teams and avoiding a lot of the glitches that we find. So it's always best for you to completely shut your Teams down at the end of the day and let it come back up in the morning time. That way you avoid glitches. On close, keep the application running. So I have that turned off too. I don't want it running if I close the applications. Disable GPU hardware, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know what that means, but I did watch a YouTube video that said they suggest you could turn that off too. So I don't know what that is, but it's off for me. Then register Teams as the chat app for Office. And I have that on because with my position in the district, a lot of students reach out to me. So I want to be able to get those messages as they come in. And of course, I have to turn on new meeting experience and enable logging for meeting diagnostics. I don't have that selected either because I'm not very interested in the diagnostics of any of the meetings. Then we could go down to privacy. I really do not mess with this too much. You want to block some contacts, you can go ahead in here and block contacts. So if you know of situations where students are probably being bullied by another student or whatever, we can have students go in here and block those students from being able to make calls to them. And then the ability to participate in service from Microsoft Teams. I have that turned on. So then we have notifications. So email, do you want to email if there was a missed activity? So you turn that on, yes or no, if you want to be able to get an email. So I have some of the things on, like play sound for notification. Again, in my job position, I have that on only because a lot of students reach out to me that way, and it's not all the time that I'm in front of my computer or I'm paying attention. So anytime a student or a teacher is trying to get me, I do get that ding on my computer that lets me know, hey, there's a message that was sent for you. And I stop and I go check it and see how I can assist. But if, again, you're one of those people that's not interested in people reaching out to you or your computer dinging every time someone sends a chat message or whatever, then you do want to turn that off because it does get a bit annoying, especially if you're in a meeting with hundreds of people. Every time they talk, your computer is dinging, 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 dinging all the time. Then you can do some edits in the chat, meeting reminders. So there's the ability to have a banner when a meeting has started, meeting chat notifications. So here is where, if you have that situation where you were invited to a meeting, but you don't want to go into the meeting, you can mute this so that if individuals is in the meeting talking and you're not interested in what's going on in the chat, you can mute it so that you're not getting those notifications constantly. Or you can set it up where don't send me those notifications until I physically go into the meeting because I'm not interested. So you decide. I have mine on mute right now. Some days I do go in when it gets out of hand and I do put it on mute so that I am not getting all those notifications for a meeting that I did not join. Sorry, I didn't mean to close that out. Sarah Ann, is my screen still good or am I lagging?
Your screen is still good. The
Okay.
lag is minor, it's not significant.
Okay. So then we have people keep track of someone's status and get notified when they appear available and offline. I don't mess with that too much because I'm really not interested in stalking anyone or finding out when they are available. And then there's other recommended, someone you know join Teams. So if someone outside of your organization join Teams or whatever, and you want to be able to know that, then you turn that on. Again, I'm not interested in that type of stuff. Also, we have devices. So this has been recently updated. So here is where you can select the different types of mics that you use. Those of you that's on desktop computers in your offices, the average desktop computer does not come with a built-in mic or a camera. So I know a lot of you guys have been putting these webcams on your desktops, and a lot of the webcams come with their own microphone. So in here is where you would select the settings for the webcam or the speakers that you've outfitted your desktop computer with, so that you'll be able to utilize them. Some people like to utilize outside mics. Again, in here is where you go and you select the type of mic or speakers or whatever that you're using to ensure that your meeting flows really good. Then we have noise suppression, which is very, very new. And what noise suppression does is, I don't know if it's working right now. I have it on high. So really what happens is the system is supposed to only pick up my voice, and all the other activity that's going on behind me, around me, should be silenced. So I don't know if you guys can hear the cars passing by outside. If you cannot, that means my noise reduction is working very well. If you have babies crying in the background, I know in a lot of my meetings, you know, we live in the islands and we have chickens. So sometimes in the meetings, you just hear these chickens just crowing in the background, and it's so annoying. But now with the new noise suppression, it's supposed to silence all of that out, and the system is only supposed to pick up your voice. You can be eating a bag of chips or whatever, and the noise suppression should eliminate all of that sound, and only your voice should come through to the audience. So you have the ability to leave it off, put it on low, which means some of that sound will go through, or you leave it on high, which means it cancels out almost everything in the background. And then you have a secondary ringer if you choose to utilize this one. And again, the camera that you can use. And then we have our permissions. So you guys can mess around with your permissions. What do you want Teams to be able to access? I right now have it accessing everything. And then we have our calls. So you have the ability, call rings me. So again, there's some people in the district when they need help and they can't get me on my cell phone, they actually use Teams and call. So my device rings and I'm able to answer. If I don't want to answer, I can forward my calls to someone else. If unanswered, do I want them to be able to leave a voicemail or do nothing? I have mine set on voicemail right now. So if someone calls me and they don't get me, they have the ability to leave a voicemail just like a regular cell phone. And that voicemail comes to me in my email and I can play the voicemail and be able to get back to the person. How many seconds you want your device to be able to ring until it hangs up? If you don't answer, you can set that. And then you can configure a voicemail where you can do like a voice recording. And then you get to choose your ringtones and accessibility. So those who may need that TTY accessibility, you have the ability to do that also. So I don't mess with any of this stuff down here, but yes, my voicemail is activated. Students and teachers alike do leave me voicemails when I don't respond on my computer. So we have any questions about any of those settings before I move on?
We do have one raised hand, Ms. Corbett, from Sharmina Williams. If you want to go ahead and ask your question. Unmute your mic, Ms. Williams.
Okay, sorry. Good afternoon, season greetings to everyone. I would like to know the noise suppression, could that be used in the classroom when you're answering a student and the noise in their background is annoying to the class?
No, so what you would want to do is actually take a few minutes out of your time in the morning with your class and actually walk the students through how to put on that noise suppression, because it's going to help them too in class. So get your students to turn that on and put it on high, and that eliminates their background noise that's coming to you. Did you get that? Did you get that, Ms. Williams?
Yeah, I was asking, so if say there's road noise on my road, I have to do it on my end for me.
You do it on your end. So when you take off noise suppression, it doesn't benefit you, it's benefiting the receiver. So if I'm in here now and so if you put on the noise reduction, then your students benefit from not hearing the background noises
Okay.
of the cars passing. So if you want the same in return for them when they're speaking to you, you have
Right.
them activate their noise reduction so that when they unmute and they're talking, whatever's going on in their background isn't coming through to you.
And sorry, on what do you say that we go in, what they go into again for their noises, the
So
suppression?
the same thing as you. So we're gonna go to the little symbol for your
Okay.
profile picture, and you just go to settings
Okay.
and you hit devices, and it's right here, noise suppression.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate.
No problem. I did recognize though, because I tried it. I don't know. I haven't tried it on a Chromebook as yet, but I know on laptops it works. I tried it on a Mac and I'm not seeing it at all on a Mac computer. So I don't know if Mac just haven't caught up, but noise suppression so far I have not seen on a Macintosh computer.
Okay.
Yeah, Mac. Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate
No
it.
problem.
Thanks.
All right, Ms. Corbett, we have another question from Ms. Juliet Daniel. Ms. Daniel,
Okay.
you could unmute your mic.
Yes, good afternoon. I am noticing because I'm following you on my HP laptop from work. I'm the school nurse at Pearl Bay. And I noticed that some of the settings that you're showing that you have, they don't even appear on my screen. Is it
So-
because I have an older version?
So you may not have the update. So this is something I forgot to tell you. So thanks for sharing that. So to make sure that you always running the updated version of Teams, every once in a while you want to go in settings, go into your profile and click check for updates. And the
Okay.
system is going to pull whatever new updates there that's available and install them while you're still working. So it will tell you continue working while we install your updates. And then when you shut it off and come back up, the update should be there.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
All right, Ms. Corbett, I have another question for you, but it's more related to the screen that we're looking at. Someone is asking, why are some of the items bolded while others are not?
You on my team screen, that is a very good question. I'm assuming the individuals that named these may have bolded their stuff. I don't know, because I did all the ones that's bolded, actually, I did not create. So this one I created is not bolded. I think I created this one. I'm not sure. I know I created cut for sure. Honestly, I do not have the answer to that question. It may have been the way the individuals wrote the names of the teams when they were creating them. I've never really paid attention until just now. I don't know. So my other teams came up, the online versions. I just want to show you guys real quick the difference. So here it is. Here is my teams again. But now the difference between the two is you can see the address bar where it says teams.microsoft.com. So once you see this address bar, that means you are 100% on the website version of Teams and you're not using the desktop version of Teams. And the fact that you can still see the waffle that allows me to go to all the other applications within my 365 account, you are 100% on the virtual side. So sometimes a lot of people get confused between the two. This is what the website version will look like, and the desktop version, all you have is that purple ribbon to the top and the search bar, nothing else. So that's how you can tell which version you're using. So now I have how to join a meeting. I don't even know if I should have to go over this. I think everyone should know how to join a meeting, but I'll just pretend like maybe there's somebody in here that's never really used this. The easiest way to join meetings is really to go to your calendar. So on my calendar, and again, this is how students are joining every day. This is why I stress to teachers, it is very super important for you to schedule your classes daily, because this is the quick, easy way for anyone to get into a meeting. So here we are, here's my calendar right now, and there's a meeting going on that I should be in. And there's the join button to go into the meeting. And if I hit join, I could just jump right into the meeting. Even if it's meetings, like right now, the meeting we're in is in Zoom, I still come to this calendar and I'm able to click on the actual meeting and get into the meeting how I need to based off of the calendar. So this is a quick way to get to the calendar. Some people go to the calendar in their email. Some people go to the calendar. Some people go to the calendar in their Outlook version of in the Outlook version. Sorry guys, I'm a bit distracted. All right, so you can join the meeting this way. Also, you get calendar invites, and people get confused a lot with the calendar invites. So let me explain to you. If I send you guys a meeting invite through Teams and it comes to your calendar, Ms. Corbett has scheduled this meeting for tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Are you able to attend? If you say yes, the email is going to disappear. So people freak out when that happens. Once you respond, it's going to disappear. So if you say yes, it disappears and it lands on your team's calendar. So it will drop right in here for whatever day and time that the meeting is for. If you decline the meeting, the email is also going to disappear, but you're not going to be able to see the link again because you've already declined. You said you're not going, so it's not going to appear on your calendar and it's not going to be in your email anymore. It literally disappears. And then the person who sent you the invite gets a message saying such and such has declined. And you know, sometimes people are like, well, I didn't see the invite, or I didn't get it, or I don't remember hitting decline, but I can go in and I can literally see who accepts and who declines. And you won't be able to get the link back unless you ask the person to resend the link, because you declined, it naturally disappears off of the calendar for you because you said you're not going to the meeting. So now I'm going to take you guys through how to schedule a meeting. Am I free to go, Sarah? Or
you want to stop and take a question? There was a raised hand that went back down, but I do have some questions from the chat related to closed captioning as an option. One teacher is saying that they may have accidentally activated closed caption and they're wanting to know how to disable it. And another teacher is asking how they can enable closed caption to use within the classroom.
Okay, so I'm going to show you guys that. So we're going to have to make a temporary, I'm going to make a meeting and show you guys how you can turn on and off closed caption. So I'm trying to think what is the wisest way to do this meeting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a meeting and temporarily, I'm going to make a meeting with people that's actually in this meeting right now. So, oh, so somebody text me and let me know. So I have the answer to the bolded question. If your Teams is bolded, that means there's messages in your Teams or something new that happened in your Teams that you did not go in and read or respond to. So it's letting you know that, hey, somebody did something new in here and you probably need to go check. So there's probably been activities in those teams. So let me go back. So there's probably been some activities in these teams that I just never went in and looked at. So the boldness means that there's something new that took place. And I guess once I go in and I check it, so let me not use that one. Let's go into my curriculum. So maybe once I click on the team, because I have not been in here, all right, and I go back out, it didn't unbold. I probably need to go deeper in to see what it is I did not go into, but we're not going to do that. But that's what that means. Somebody just text me on the side. Thank you, Ms. Carla Smith-Todman, and explain what that was. So let me go ahead and walk you guys through the process of how to make a meeting. And I'm going to invite some of the people that's in here now. I don't know if that's a good idea because then your Zoom camera is going to mess up. Let me get my children to. So I'm going to hit new meeting. So you go into your calendar and you hit new meeting if you want to create a meeting. And you give your meeting a title, something else you guys need to pay attention to because this happens all the time, especially when we change, when the mainland changes time zones. our time zone, some people computers for whatever reason naturally changes the time thinking that we're on the mainland. Some people time zones stay the same. Therefore, if you find that the time zone change and your meetings are always an hour off, the very first thing that you need to check is your time zone right here. It has to be on -4. And from here, if it's fixed here and you're still getting that hour of a difference, then you go into your actual email and you go into settings and see where the time zone is there, because it might be off there also. Once these time zones are at -4 San Juan, then you wouldn't have any issues. And you can actually choose any one of the areas as long as it's on -4. And that way you will always be in the right time zone for meetings, and all your meetings will come into your calendar on the right time. So I'm going to call this test meeting for VIDE. Now, add required attendees. So you want to add required attendees so that you ensure that they are getting the invitations. A lot of people ask about us being able to invite people outside of our tenant. So that's people that they're not VIDE employees, they're not in the VIDE organization. You do have the ability to invite outside people into this space for meetings. You simply just put their full email address that they're using for Teams. So it's actually easier if you have the person, ask the person to sign up for a free Microsoft Teams account if they don't have one. If they do have one, they could just give you the email to whatever Microsoft Teams email they're using. And or you just ask them to quickly sign up for a Microsoft Teams account and link it to their email. And then once you put their email in there, that allows an outside person to come into our tenant. Yes, they're going to come in as a guest, and there will be some limitations to what they can do, but they definitely can participate in any of the meetings within our organization as long as you send them the invite. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to invite some people. Let me actually try my husband. He might actually pick up. Let me try my daughter. She may not pick up because she's gonna be like, I don't want to be on camera. And because I feel like if I call someone that's in this meeting now, then their Zoom is gonna get messed up because they'll be utilizing their camera already. Let's see if any of these 3 individuals will indulge me today. I'll leave the meeting for 3:30, ends at 4. Does the meeting repeat? So for teachers, the teachers use this all the time because they're meeting their kids every day. For office staff, if it's just a one-time meeting, you don't need to use this button at all. You're only adding a channel if you have created a team and the meeting is happening with just your team members, then you can add the channel to where those members are. But I find like a lot of office people, they don't need to use this feature at all. And even for teachers, I tell them go ahead and put the student's name in this box because I have used this box several times. And for some reason, there's a few students that get forgotten for some reason. So the surefire way is to do it in here. So you can go ahead and you can put the individual's name in here. Oh, someone just volunteered. Thank you. All right, so I found someone who is willing to volunteer. Oh, another volunteer. You guys are so sweet. Let's see, James Richardson. Okay, we got 2 volunteers who I know will definitely respond. And add location, it's on Teams, guys. And if you have any notes, you can put the notes here also, and you can send the invite. Actually, James, I'm gonna purposely leave you off so I can show them another shortcut also. I'm not putting in any notes, and I'm gonna hit send. This should go out to all the members of who I need to be in this meeting. So there's my meeting right here. The minute you see it pop up on your screen in the purple, and it doesn't have like a recycle, it's not a recycle button, but like there's like a little circle button that comes here sometimes, like this. Sometimes that means it's like it's not fully synced or whatever. So here's my meeting. Now, time and time again, we have had situations where, oh my gosh, I forgot to add this person. Now you can go back into the meeting and add the individual, but the downfall to going back into this calendar and adding that person is it's going to send the update to everyone in this meeting. And it's not all the time that you want to do that. Sometimes you just want to bring in this other person without having to notify the entire group that you've added this person. So I don't ever do it here because of that. I just want the person that I'm adding to be the only person to know that, hey, I've added you to this meeting. So as you can see on the side, Ms. Samuel Hodge accepted, and these 3 individuals that I'm related to have not. So let's shrink this and let me show you how you can invite a person and only send the invite to that person and not send notifications to all these individuals again. So I'm gonna open up Outlook. So if you're using, and I know Office people use Outlook all the time because they use this more than they use the online version of Teams. Yes, if you want to answer it for me, please, but you don't have to. You could just answer it, but don't turn on your camera. Can you do that for me? Thank you. Just answer the invite, but don't turn on your camera. I'll tell you when. All right. So in Outlook, I can go to my calendar and my meeting. Here's my test meeting right here. So I could go into my test meeting on my Outlook calendar. Now, this is the desktop version of Outlook, guys, not the online version. So in my desktop version of Outlook, there's a join Teams meeting here too. So if you want to schedule your meetings using Outlook, you can definitely do it from here and not even have to go into Teams. It will create the links, everything. And what's good about this is you have the ability to like, say you have a group of people and they're like in an Excel file with all their names or whatever, or you have, because in this Microsoft Teams, you only have the ability to add 1 person at a time. If you do it through Outlook, the desktop version, you can add groups of people at a time. So I can take a group of 50 people, copy and drop their names right here into the tool and mass like send the invite rather than in Microsoft Teams where I have to literally sit and type every single person name out. I don't have to do that in the Outlook version when I'm scheduling a Teams meeting. So now I want to add James Richardson to the list. So I'm going to put James, sorry, spelled his name wrong. James Richardson. Oh, they have it last name then first name, sorry. Richardson, James. Good tell I haven't emailed him from Outlook. So anytime I don't find a person, I could either go to, wait, give me 1 second. There's a button here where you could have them check the person. Oh, no. Oh, it found him. So once you see it on the line, you know they found the person. So they checked his name, they found him. And I'm gonna hit send update. When I do the send update, it says, do you want to send this meeting request without a location? So I didn't put a location, yes, because it's online. We don't need a location. So I say send anyway. So now I have the option, send updates only to the added or deleted attendees or send updates to all the attendees. I only need to disturb James Richardson. I don't need to disturb everybody else with the invite. So I'm only going to send it to him. And the other individuals never knew that I sent it to him. Only he alone got that updated invite. So James, you could confirm whether or not you got it. Thinking I might need to refresh here to see that your name is in there.
Yes, I got it.
Yep, there he is. So James, and he has not accepted or declined as yet. So this is how we set up a meeting. And again, the system did notice that I did ask James, and he asked me if I want to send an update again, but I'm not doing it through this Teams because it would push it out to everyone, and I don't need to do that. So now, before I open up the meeting, which I don't even know if that's a good idea to open a meeting because it actually might kick me out of Zoom. That's gonna happen, right, Sarah Ann, if I open this meeting, isn't it?
Yeah, if you launch the meeting, it's gonna boot you out of Zoom.
It is, wait, there has to be a workaround. I mean, I have another computer that I can launch it on, but I won't be able to share my
Share the screen. Yeah.
Okay. I'm a little awkward. Okay, let's see. So meeting options is another one that you want to address. So in meeting options, this is where I tell the teachers, please, 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 you have to do this. If you don't want students to come into your meeting and run the show, see, James has accepted my meeting invite. If you don't want the students to come in and run the show, or even if you're inviting outside people and you want to force them to wait in a lobby, you have to go to the meeting options and you have to set those things beforehand. Yes, there's some things that you can set once you get into the meeting, but you don't want to be rushing trying to set all these parameters when you can do it beforehand. So when you hit meeting options, it takes you to a web page where you can go ahead and set those meeting options. So who can bypass the lobby? So you can set it where people just come right in and they don't even have to wait in a lobby. They could come into your meeting before you and you just meet them there. But if you want a little bit more order, you could say everyone could bypass the lobby, or only the people in my organization, people in my organization and guests, or you could say only me. Understand that if you put it to only me, so this is what we advise teachers to do, that they set this to only me, because now no child can get into their class without them allowing them in. No one can get in without them. They have to all pass through the lobby, to include administrators. So sometimes people get very confused about this. When you create a team, so administrators at the schools are part of a lot of the teams within the school. And your teams is one thing. The meeting is something totally separate. So people get confused and there's like, I don't understand. I'm an owner in the team. Why can't I get into the meeting? The team and the meeting is two different things. In the team, the principal can walk in and out through your team. So they can go into your teams, they could go through your class notebooks, they could do whatever they want to because they are owners within the team. But once you set your calendar and you set these parameters, the owner of these parameters is you, no one else but you. So you are the owner of the lobby. So if Sarah Ann and myself, even though we're co-teachers, we could be co-teachers, and I set the meeting for tomorrow, or if I set the meeting for tomorrow, even though Sarah Ann might be a presenter with me, she still has to wait on me to let her through the lobby, because I am the creator of the meeting. So if you set it to only you, remember that only you can get into the room and then let everyone else in. If you know you're going to be sick and you can't do it, then you need to change this to probably only people in my organization. Therefore, the other trusted person could come in, but understand that other people within VIDE will be able to come in too, and the only people you tap in is guests from coming in. Microsoft, in my suggestion, probably needs to fix this way. Could probably have like maybe 1 or 2 people that can control the lobby. But as of right now, if you put this on only me, you are the only person that can open up that lobby and let people in. All right. So you could change that. Always let callers bypass the lobby. Again, that's up to you. announcement callers join or leave. I usually have that on only because it's not all the time you're seeing that thing on the side saying someone is, waiting in the lobby. So I like to hear that ding so that I can go ahead and look to see and let the person in. Who can present? So if you're making a meeting and you do not want these people to have the ability to take over the meeting, share, mute other people in the meeting, then you do not keep this on everyone. You switch this to only me or specific people. So in here, if you have a co-director or co-person that's doing the meeting with you, then you would say specific people and you have the ability to type the person's name so that both of you can come in with the full rights to the meeting, with the exception of the lobby, as far as you're able to share your screen, you're able to present, you're able to mute individuals, things like that. If not, if you leave it to everyone is able to, then you find yourself where people are unmuting the mics, they're coming in unmuted and they're loud and you have to go through and mute them, or they're coming in and they could try to take over the screen. So I normally have this on either only me, or if I have a co-presenter or whatever, that person is also a person that's a presenter and not an attendee. And then if there's someone in the room that needs the ability to share their screen, then you are able to go into the meeting and give them the rights to share their screen with the rest of the group. And allow attendees to unmute. If you don't want anyone to unmute and you want them to all come in very, very silent and they can't say anything unless you unmute them, then you check that box. So allow attendees to unmute. You say no, that means everyone comes in silent and they don't have the ability to talk until you give them rights. And once you set those parameters for your meeting, you hit save. I don't know why my save is not lit up right now, but you hit save and all those meeting parameters are set for you so that when your meeting starts, you're not worried about who's an attendee, who's not an attendee, who do I need to mute, who do I don't need not mute. So this is a big time saver for teachers. And with the new update to Microsoft, we don't always have to go ahead either. You actually could use a lot of this stuff within the actual meeting, but you would have to launch the meeting first and then set these parameters. I like to do it before the meeting, so it's not something that I am worried about. Sarah Ann, any questions?
Yes, we do have quite a few questions. First one, we have someone asking, is there a way you can allow a student to share their screen as an attendee?
If there's a way, so no, I think as far as I know, you have to make them a presenter for them to be able to select that share screen button. If not, if they're considered an attendee, the share screen button is grayed out for them. They don't have the rights.
Okay, and still that question about the closed captioning within the
Okay, so
meeting.
the closed captioning is actually in the actual meeting, and I'm fearful that if I launch my meeting, it's gonna kick me out and throw everything off. But inside an actual Teams meeting, you can go in and there's a button. Let me see if I could go online and show you guys. It's just a simple button that you can turn on and closed captioning comes on. I have another question while I look this up for the person.
Ms. Lanclos is saying that you can launch a meeting and be on Zoom at the same time. You just need to turn your camera off in Teams.
Are we willing to take that chance? Yeah, want me to try?
You can try.
I don't think I've ever done it, is I get kicked out.
I was about to say, worst case scenario, I'll just relaunch the meeting and
Okay,
we'll
no
get
problem.
this back on.
So here in your, once you have the meeting launch, if you click the ellipse, so James started the meeting, so I'm gonna come in because I let James start the meeting. So I'm gonna go in, there he is. So you click the ellipse and then you have the ability to turn on or off the closed captioning. It's right there in the ellipse. So we're gonna try this out. Let me join with James. Let's go back to the calendar because now it's gone. Let's see what happens. All right, so again with the new features, you guys can see my screen still, Sarah?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. So with the new upgrade with Teams 2, this was not available before. So you get to select if you want to use your computer audio, you don't want any audio at all, and then room audio. And I'm assuming that's for people that have like integrated speaker systems within their office. I'm gonna keep my camera off. And I'm gonna say use the computer audio, and I'm gonna say join now. Let's see what happens. Cross your fingers that we don't get kicked out.
While that's loading, do you wanna take a few questions?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so in the situation of a reoccurring meeting, if the person declines the first meeting, will they be able to access any of the upcoming meetings?
So if they decline, because that happened to some students already, and they couldn't understand why they couldn't see the teacher on their schedule, and that's what happened. The child mistakenly hit decline, and then that teacher's class disappeared off of their schedule. So I simply just called the teacher and had them put the child name back in required attendees, and when she hit send update, it just came back on the child's schedule.
Okay, someone is asking how to do a breakout room.
So I was gonna show that too if I could get into this meeting, but I don't think my computer is liking the fact that I'm trying to do 2 meetings at the same time on my bandwidth.
You might need to turn off the computer audio, you know.
Let's,
To do the don't use audio option.
there's not, it looks like it's, let's cancel and let's try to go back in. Then my whole team's going to crash on me right now.
Okay, and the only other outstanding request is someone is asking if you can show an example of creating a meeting and copying it to Schoology.
Normally, if I'm doing a meeting for Schoology, I schedule a meeting in Schoology itself and not in Teams. Because if you're doing a meeting in Teams, you would have to take that link and bring it over into Schoology and paste the link for the somewhere for the children to see. However, if you're in Schoology and you click on the Teams link within Schoology, it allows you to set up the meeting time and everything like you would in Teams. It's actually a more shortcut of a version of setting up the meeting. And then that link is on Schoology built in already. And when the children click on it, it literally takes them back over into the Teams platform. So I've never done it the opposite way. I've never taken Teams and brought into Schoology. I would be in Schoology and schedule a meeting in Teams, and it would actually link the two. So have this teacher seen the Teams shortcut in Schoology? Or whoever it is asking, I'm assuming it's a teacher because they said Schoology.
Yeah, let me scroll and see if I can find a name.
Hey, Keisha, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I tried even calling you, but you're not getting in, right? I think you just got in.
I think I did. So I did what Sarah answered. I said, don't use audio. So it allowed me in. Oh, my son came in. How sweet of him. All right, guys. So here is my meeting. So remember I told you guys about the bar being in the bottom or being on the top. If you are using the older version of Teams, this bar sits right here in the middle of your screen. I couldn't stand it. Now with the newer version, the bar sits up here in the corner. And you have the participants, so you can show who's participating in your meeting. If you need, for whatever reason, to invite somebody, so like if I wanted to call in my husband because he didn't respond, I can call him in and it will call their devices and they'll be able to come in. Then you have the ellipse within here. So remember, I told you some of these shortcuts you could do literally in a meeting. So don't allow attendees to unmute. You can do that from here. You can go to manage permissions from here also. So it'll take you back to that same screen that we were in before. And then For some of you, sometimes you need that attendance listing, especially for meetings where you're probably going to give certificates. You have the ability to download the attendance. It comes to you in an Excel file. So you can download the attendance for the meeting and be able to utilize that. Then, of course, you have the chat feature. Just like any other platform, you're able to chat. The raise hand feature. And what I like about the raise hand feature is no matter where you are in the meeting, so I could have 100 people in this meeting. The minute the person raises their hand, they're able to, they jump to the top of the list. So regardless of what their last name is, so Razin Samuel has just raised her hand, so she jumped to the top of the list. Normally, this put the individuals in order, alphabetical order. So but again, because she raised her hand, so it does that. So I'm aware of the fact that, hey, this person has a raised hand and it doesn't matter where she sits. It would automatically move her to the top so I can recognize it. Then the closed caption. Hold on 1 second. You don't have to talk or anything. Just leave your phone just how it is, okay? Just leave it, thanks. No, 1 second. So now the ellipse, I click on the ellipse. So remember we were talking about attendees and members. This is something that's very important too. Why you want to make some people attendees and not presenters? If the person is a presenter in your meeting, they have all rights to this button right here that says start recording. When they hit the start recording button, you know who owns the rights to the video? The person that hit the button. So I could be the presenter right now. If James Richardson hits this start record button, it becomes his content because he hit the button and it goes to his stream. So we've had a lot of situations where people did not set those parameters and the kids are going into the classes and they're hitting the record button, or in meetings, people are hitting that record button, and then your meeting is on stream for the world to see in our organization, and you never met for your meeting to go there, and now you have to call that person and ask them, can you please take the meeting down? And again, it's because they hit the button, so they have the right to the recording. So when you make them attendees, this button is grayed out for them. They have no right to recording. And then look, the closed caption, turn on live closed caption. So I'm gonna turn that on. So James, can you talk? Let's see if it's gonna capture your words. Okay, so I can't hear you guys talking. Well, I think it's because I turned off my audio, but they're talking and it's literally putting on the closed caption. And you guys just can't hear them talking because of the way I came into the meeting. But this is how closed caption works. And if I don't want to see this, so if you have someone in your class and maybe a little hard of hearing, or their hearing is not so great, you can turn this on so that they can assist the children. And then I think somewhere in here, you can download the transcript also, and it becomes like a printout of everything that was said in the meeting. And I can go back in, and if the person who wanted it turned off, you can just turn it off and it disappears. Very simple, on and off. Also, you can also do the device settings in here where again, you select your mics and your speakers and your camera. Then again, you have the meeting options. There's meeting notes if you want to take meeting notes, and there's details of the meeting. So this audience is not, can any of you guys willing to turn on your camera just so I could see what the together mode, so they could see the together mode? All right, so if I hit the together mode, it only works for individuals who turned on their camera, and it's so not working for me right now. So it's not liking it right now, but normally when I hit this together mode, it puts them in a gallery seating, and it looks like they're in a theater style seating. I don't know if it's because we don't have enough people on or because I have more than one thing running right now, but that's how that normally works. And then I have,
Hey, Ms.
you guys
Corbett.
can turn off your cameras now if you want to. Then we have, that's basically it for in here. Then we have the share screen button. So if you want to share your screen, I can click on this and a box pops up asking me, what do I want to share? So right now I'm using 2 screens. So I can select screen 1 or screen 2, or I can just say share Teams only. So it's only sharing the Teams application or the Zoom meeting application. We have PowerPoint, the whiteboard. And if you choose to share a video, this is the one thing I don't like about Microsoft is you always have to remember to turn this button on if you want the sound to push out. So you would have to select this, turn it on, and then select which window your video is in so that the sound can go with the video to the audience. So you always have to hit this. A lot of people forget about this button and then they push the video out and it's like, oh my gosh, we can't hear anything. And it's because you didn't select this button. And then when you want to stop sharing, you hit stop sharing. So now let's see how these people came in. So right now, Ms. Hodge is a presenter. So if I make her an attendee, so I could change her really quick, you notice how they separate her from the rest of the group. So all these individuals have rights in this meeting, so they can share the screen, do whatever. Ms. Hodge is simply an attendee. So if she tried to share her screen right now, she does not have the ability to share her screen. So Ms. Hodge, oh, we're going over time, guys.
Ms. Corbett, yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I was just trying to stop you so that we can stop the presentation here, just to be respectful of people's time. So I know we only have an hour.
That's what I tell you guys. I do this for 9 hours and they wanted it in 45.
So if people have, because there are additional questions, you want folks to funnel them through the public relations email or directly to you?
No, they could funnel it through you and whatever you think needs to come to me, you could send. But most of these people should know, like most of them should know my contact information. You guys can email me with your questions also, it doesn't matter.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and launch the poll. And Ms. Corbett, if you could drop your email in the chat and I'll drop the public relations email in the chat so that folks who have questions can reach out to us that way.
Okay. Get to it, but the one button that I skipped next to the raise hand, that is your...
Good day, VIDE family. Thank you for joining us today. We hope that you found the information valuable to understanding the department's functions and beneficial to performing your job duties. You may access this presentation anytime by visiting vide.vi and clicking on the For Employees tab. Thank you.